A solid win last week after a shaky start. If we can win games when we're not playing particularly well, then we're doing fine. Clark and Stewart combined for an excellent goal that will give us some pointers for this week's fixture. And late on, Sims nearly provided a second for Stewart. Sims is a good player and looks up a lot before receiving the ball, which means he knows what he's going to do before he receives it. Here he gives two looks, the first to the defender to see where he's going, and the second to the keeper to see where he's positioned, and he knows what he's going to do before the ball is halfway to him. This makes him hard to play against. Another good week for our front two then, but the star of the day was Dennis Cirkin, who's become one of the first names on the team sheet, having only just turned 20. Of all of our defenders, he's made the most interceptions this season, and only Daniel Ballard has more clearances than him. On Saturday, he just managed the space very, very well. You can see Cirkin coming to shot here. He tracks Jacob Brown's run and isn't caught out by Brown's switch to the front post. Cirkin ends up making an excellent block. Fantastic marking. And again, here, the ball is played through and Cirkin can see everything in front of him. He sees the dangerous pass and realises that Evans can't cover the runner for it, so moves across to manage the danger himself. And again, here he sees Barth's headed clearance coming back, and as Barth comes in to challenge Gale, Cirkin looks at the play and realises that the runner behind is already beyond Embleton, so he drops to cover. Cirkin was always alert and watching play develop. Consequently, he was never caught out. What he perhaps doesn't know is that Danny Barth has deliberately started to use him to crush opposition players. This play, for example, is deliberate by Barth. And again, here, running the player into the back of Dennis Cirkin. It's a physical play and a sneaky one, but I'm pretty certain he hasn't shared this plan with Dennis. In any case, it looks like we have a star in the making on our hands. In the close season, Norwich did their annual divisional swap with Fulham. Norwich have been relegated when Fulham have been promoted, and vice versa every year for the last 5 years. Daniel Farke, the German manager, got Norwich promoted as champions in 2019 and again in 2021, but another miserable Premier League campaign last year saw him become the first manager to lose 15 consecutive Premier League matches. He was sacked in November last year on the day that he got his first win. Dean Smith was appointed Norwich manager shortly after, only 8 days after his own sacking from Aston Villa, having lost 5 straight games in a row with them. It's fair to say the Norwich faithful currently have mixed feelings about Dean Smith. Less than a year in the job, Smith failed to stop relegation and life back in the Championship began stutteringly with an opening loss to Cardiff and a draw to newly promoted Wigan. Since then, they've had a blistering run of form and were deeply unlucky not to beat Hull City, then recording back-to-back wins against mediocre opposition in Huddersfield and Millwall.
He's given it to Aarons, who races into the box, crosses! Oh, it's been put over the top!
Norwich fans are wondering which team they will turn out to be, and judgment on Dean Smith may well be defined by the result of their game with us.
Aarons, he's put it in! Norwich City have their first goal of the season!
So, which Norwich team will turn up to the Stadium of Light this Saturday? Parachute payments mean that Norwich's income is 3 times greater than ours currently, but they have still shed lots of players from their wage bill in the closed season, with several going out on loan, Barley Mumba to Plymouth amongst them. Incoming for Norwich have been fewer than us so far. They've taken defensive central midfielder Isaac Hayden on loan from the Mags with an obligation to buy. They've paid over £9 million for Brazilian midfielder Gabriel Sara from Sao Paulo, but he's had little impact so far this season. They've reloaned Aaron Ramsey from Aston Villa, but he's struggled for league starts, and they appear to have unearthed an absolute diamond in Marcelino Nunes. More on him later. Dean Smith will play 4-3-3 no matter what this weekend. They will play with an advanced midfield and press the ball high against us. Delay and indecision runs the risk of swift punishment, just as it did against Sheffield United. Norwich have us beaten almost every metric that matters. They've got one of the best possession stats in the league and a third, averaging 65% possession per game compared to our 43%. Their pass accuracy is also third on 84% compared to us in 20th place on 71%. They are fourth for successful dribbles, and perhaps worryingly, we are one of the most dribbled past teams in the league, having been beaten 38 times already. That's the third worst. They may lose control as many times as we do, but remember, they have a lot more possession to do that with. They spray around almost double the amount of accurate passes in the pitch. This is combined with a very attacking setup that sees them play very high up the park, so dangerous. Look at this formation. They play so high up that sometimes they have as many as 4 players averaging positions beyond the centre circle, and in some games average only 3 players in their own half. That's unusual. They will press us therefore quite a lot in our defensive third. They seem to favour attacking down the right-hand side with 3 to 4 players often closely packed. Jack Clarke is going to be pushed back a lot. This is all going to mean a lot of pressure for us and a lot of chances for them. And it should be no surprise that Norwich top the table for shots per game with over 17, about 50% more than what we do, and we're an attacking threat in the league. The bad news doesn't end there. Norwich are the most foul team in the league, and unsurprisingly, we top the charts for delivering the most bruises, and we've earned the most yellow cards to go with it at 19. So if you want the surest bet of the day, it's going to be that a fat stack of cards comes our way. And if we're not more careful, this could prove very costly for us. Norwich are the biggest short passing team in the league, but they're also the second best crossers in the league, with 16 key passes coming from crosses, whereas we can only muster 7. If all of this sounds overwhelmingly bleak, it is. But there are things in our favour. If we can get the ball up to Sims and Stewart like we did against Stoke, then they are both capable of holding the ball up, pressing defenders and taking their chances. A genuine threatening release for us on Saturday will be the ball over the top because Norwich sits so high. Max Aarons is their best defender and he's ranked 19th in the league. And then, unbelievably, Norwich's next best defender is ranked 168th out of 300. They are brittle at the back, and it's just a question of whether we can get the ball and attack them with it. In the top 100 most dispossessed players in the league, Sunderland have 2, Norwich have 6. Combine this with us being one of the division's major goal threats, sitting in second place on goals scored, and Norwich being bottom of the league for tackles, and I do believe we have an outlet and will score. The deciding factor in the match is whether we can defend well enough. Sure, one of the reasons why they're bottom for tackles is that they have the ball considerably more than other teams, so they don't need to tackle. But for all of their high press, they do not intercept the ball very much, and are 19th in the league for interceptions. This means that they are not winning tackles in that high press as much as they should do. It's almost certainly a reflection of their low tackling metric. So, if we can get the ball to the front too, we will have good opportunities to score, and we are much better at the high press than they are. The first name that might spring to mind is Teemu Pukki, Norwich's player of the season last year, and in the Premier League, their top scorer with 11 goals. He's twice been a leading player and champion in this division, but he's not one of Norwich's main threats, in my opinion. Surprisingly, he might not even play, because Josh Sargent has been playing like a whirlwind of aggression and banging them in so far. Screech is quite a handful, loves to attack the near post, and is easily Norwich's biggest threat on Saturday.
Back to Sargent. Could this be the chance? Oh, what a finish! Josh Sargent again for Norwich City. Scores in front of
the other main threat is 22-year-old Chilean international Marcelino Núñez, who arrived in the summer for just $3.5 million and looks like a contender for the divisional signing of the season. He is absolute class. His time on the ball sees a killer pass with alarming regularity and is their designated free kick taker.
In front of Cirkin, eventually arrives at his feet. Back into the midfield now, and Núñez, who's had a busy start to this game. Núñez with the ball forward. He's picked out Pukki here in the penalty.
And he's brimming with confidence. I mean, look at this penalty in a cup shootout competition.
He's already involved in a penalty shootout. Oh, he's connected! He scored! My goodness, that was nerves of steel.
Given our fragility in giving away free kicks around the box, we really must do our best not to this weekend, because this lad will punish us.
Curling shot, fantastic goal!
Forcing his way into the team lately has been Daniel Sinani, who has been on loan for the last 2 seasons but appears to be ready for this division now. He started the last 3 games as an attacking right forward and has been excellent with 2 goals and 3 assists in those last 3 fixtures he started. Sinani and Núñez are the standout threats in a quite attacking unit for Norwich. If we're to give ourselves a chance on Saturday, then we are going to have to close them down and kill the supply to Josh Sargent. Do that, and we give ourselves a good chance. Obviously, there are other threats in a team that competed in the Premier League only months ago and has kept all of their best players. Cantwell, Hernandez, Omibara, Max Aarons, they're all quality players. But there are chances that we can exploit. So what should Alex Neil do to give us the best chance of getting something from the Norwich game? Given the advanced shape that Norwich put out on the pitch, Corey Evans is a must to start. He's our best defender, he breaks up play well and is rarely flustered on the ball. Despite the red card, Dan Neil is the best player to start alongside him. There's no other option in the team who defends quite as well as he does statistically and offers the same going forward. At the back, we might see Bailey Wright come in alongside Danny Bart on that 3, although I wouldn't rule out 09 keeping his place. He is by far our leading interceptor, and that has value against a team positioned so high up the pitch. Gooch and Clark will start. Gooch has been outstanding so far this season. He put in a real captain's performance at Sheffield United, got a well-taken goal, and has improved significantly in defence this term. He doesn't find as much space and time to go forwards as Clark does, but he does enough. Clark obviously is going to be one of our main outlets, and I hope he's looking for those balls over the top to Stewart and Sims again. There has been some talk of not playing those two up front to such an attacking side as Norwich. I think that this would be a mistake. No side in the division is likely to score more in the first half at home than Sunderland, so we must use this clear advantage. Norwich will score, and we can't afford to give up our best weapon before the kick-off. The SAS to start for me. We need them to try and press Norwich's shape back down the pitch. We do not want to invite what will already be significant pressure. Of course, what matters is how Alex Neil sees all this. One thing's for sure, we'll have a very good idea of where we stand in the league after this game.